Hello, friends. Today I'm going to talk about a problem which is very common, which is affecting a lot of people nowadays, and that problem is called anxiety neurosis. I think we all know what anxiety is. We have suffered from anxiety, or we come across situations where we get anxious, and that is very much a normal part of life. Now, take for example, if you're going for a very important meeting and there is a prospect of striking a deal, a business deal in that meeting, well, you may get anxious about it. Or you have to catch an early morning flight, and then in the night you may just get anxious. Or in any other situation, like even in the case of students, even in children, if they have to go and appear for an examination, they may get anxious. So, getting anxious or getting anxiety is a part of life. So, how is that something which we take as normal, getting anxious about things? How is that particular anxiety which happens on a daily basis with us? How is that it becomes a problem? Or when does it become a problem? So, that is what I am going to discuss today. And whatever I am going to say is from my own experience, since I have gone through a lot of anxiety and I am under treatment for that. So, therefore, I can tell you all these things from my experience. So, how does normal anxiety becomes some sort of a disorder? In my case, I can tell you that episodic anxiety, getting anxious about things, which is normal, which I have explained, there are situations that we all handle. But when you start getting anxious about things which hitherto you have been doing it normally, that is when something strikes that yes, probably something is going wrong. And that is what anxiety neurosis is all about. You start getting anxious about things and situations which have been normal in your life, which you have been doing in a very, very normal way in your life, without any anxiety, without any problem, without any issues, and all of a sudden you find that you are not able to do those things in a normal manner. You are getting anxious about doing those things. Now, for example, I will tell you about my case, wherein something as simple as going to the market to buy groceries. This is something which we do on a regular basis. Some people do it almost daily. And I used to get anxious about even going to the market to buy groceries. Now, anxious means that I was getting nervous about it. I was thinking about it. Now, just imagine you are thinking about something and getting worried about doing something which you have been doing all your life without any issues. So, going and buying groceries, I was getting nervous about it. Taking my car for servicing, I was getting nervous about it. Going to buy anything from the market or from the departmental store, or doing routine things like paying utility bills. I mean, those things which we do on a regular basis, that was making me anxious. And I was thinking about those things for days before. If I have to go to the market, say day after tomorrow, I will start thinking about it today and start getting anxious about it. And one more thing I noticed was that I was planning a lot of things which I never used to do. Now, going to the market and buying groceries, I mean, this is pretty much normal. Why should somebody be planning about it? There's nothing to plan about. You just make a list of the things you need to buy, and that's it. But I was not just doing that, making a list of things which I have to buy. I was getting worried about it. How I will go, whether there will be rush in the departmental store, whether I will be able to do the thing in time, whether there will be something going wrong. Unnecessary, there was some anxiety, and I was thinking about it. So it clearly started affecting my normal day-to-day life, and I could feel it. So when normal things which you have been doing, you start getting anxious about it, that means your anxiety is something which is now into some sort of a disorder. It's not normal. Now, another thing which was giving me lots of anxiety was as simple a thing as driving my car. Now, we all know that when we drive in cities, we get stuck in traffic jams. It's very normal. I mean, this is such a common thing. And for 22 years, I have been driving a car, and perhaps a million times I would have been stuck in a traffic jam, but I was never worried. I was pretty normal about it. But when I started getting anxious, started getting anxiety, which was more than normal, I was getting into a sort of a problem where I was anticipating that when I will go and drive my car, I will get stuck in a traffic jam. So it was making me nervous. And when the situation actually happened, when I was stuck in a traffic jam, I used to have really bad, very bad anxiety. And the symptoms of anxiety which I always used to have was, besides the nervous feeling, the nervousness which I used to feel especially in my stomach. There was a strange sort of nervousness in the stomach which used to come to the chest, to the heart, and then my neck used to get a bit stiff, especially on the right side. And there were also at times palpitations. So the normal things which I have been doing all my life, those things now were making me anxious. So that was something which was not normal. I knew that something was happening to me. It was not normal. So I was wondering, and it has been happening for a lot, maybe probably for 1.5, 2 years. I was wondering whether I should be consulting a doctor, or should I be taking some medicines, or should I consult a physician. But then somehow something from inside me was telling me, oh, this is, yes, a bit abnormal, but this will pass away. This too shall pass. This will not really last for a long time. So I was just wishing that this will, I will wish it away, so to speak. So I was really in a situation where I was in trouble, and yet I was not willing to take help. So it happened in January this year, in 2018. I just was, after my dinner, I was just lying down and fiddling around on my smartphone, and all of a sudden I felt very strong palpitations, 3 or 4 very strong palpitations, which I could even feel up to my throat. And it was sort of a jerky type of a feeling. It had not happened before with this intensity. It had happened a little bit here and there, but never with this intensity. So I was a little concerned, but I thought, oh, fine, perhaps I had eaten a lot and I have been suffering from um, gastroesophageal reflux problems, acidity, hyperacidity, heartburn. So stomach problems I have been suffering from for a long time. So I thought that probably it was um I had had a sort of a heavy meal. So perhaps that was the reason why this particular palpitation has taken place. So I just sort of ignored it and went to bed. And the whole night I was not able to sleep because I was having some very heavy palpitations. So the next day, uh, since the palpitations had actually, the jerky sort of feeling was for a few moments, but the pulse rate and heartbeat was continuously very fast even when I was lying down. I was not doing any physical activity and still the pulse rate was around 95, 100 plus. So that was something which was not normal. So I had to go to the doctor. So I went there and various checks were done. Uh, I was put on a 24-hour heart monitor that is called Holter, sort of a device which is attached to your body, and it's sort of a 24-hour ECG. And I was also taken to a test which was called electrocardio. Um, I'm really not remembering. It's sort of called um this is echo test, wherein they check the sort of an ultrasound of the heart. So they check the whether the heart is functioning properly or not, as an organ heart is normal or not. So all those tests were normal. The heart tests were normal. My BP was around 150/100, and blood test reports were cholesterol was high, pretty high, triglycerides were high, potassium levels were high in my blood, vitamin D levels were very low, and a couple of other things. So all in all, it was clear that there was some problem with my system. And even at that time, the doctors thought that it is because of high BP, because of cholesterol and all that. Perhaps I got those palpitations, and since I was having acidity problems, so it could have triggered the palpitations. So they didn't look at the anxiety aspect. They thought that it was episodic. So treatment was done for a short duration, and everything was sort of under control. But then anxiety was not going away. I was still very anxious. I was still not feeling normal. So at that point in time, I realized that I had to consult a physician, a proper physician who could really look into the problem. And when I did that, I was diagnosed with anxiety neurosis and I put on medicines. So after I was put on medicines, I felt better. There was improvement in the symptoms, and I was feeling much calmer as compared to what I was before. And overall, I was more positive in my thoughts and more positive in my approach. So, friends, this is what actually is anxiety neurosis in a very, very layman's terms. That when you are getting anxious about things which you have been doing normally for many, many years, and if you're regularly getting anxious about doing those things on a daily basis, along with symptoms of nervousness, palpitations, stiffness in the body, negative thoughts, or a whole lot of other symptoms if you are also depressed, then you need to really consult a doctor. You need to really take help. It's not normal. Anxiety neurosis is a very, very problematic thing. It affects your day-to-day life. It doesn't allow you to settle down. You are in a constant state of agitation. You are in a constant state of worry. And in my case, I also lost 10 kgs of weight in 6 months flat, which was quite a rapid rate of losing weight. So that was also not attributed to any physical problem, that was all because of anxiety. Because the metabolic rate of your system, of your body, it goes into a faster mode, and you are always in a situation where the adrenaline is pumping, the stress hormones are always active, and under such conditions, when your stress hormones are active, your digestion has gone for a toss, then there's every chance that you will not be able to assimilate the food you are taking, and weight loss will result. So 10 kgs of weight in 6 months is a lot of weight to shed without any physical problem. So it was all because of anxiety. So therefore, what I'm trying to tell you is that if you are having any such symptoms, you can search the net. There are a whole lot of symptoms associated with anxiety neurosis. Then you need to really not only get yourself checked up thoroughly, but also consult a good physician so as to make sure that you are able to come out of this problem. This will take time, mind you. But besides the medicines, what else can you do? I will share with you my experiences in dealing with anxiety besides the medical prescriptions, the other alternate methods, in my next video. I hope you like this video, although I have produced this video with my smartphone camera, so it's not really, you cannot expect it to be of professional quality, and this is my first attempt at uploading something on the YouTube. So if anyone watches it or anyone likes it, then I will be very happy. And please, if anyone watches this and if you have got anything to share, please write to me. I'll be very happy to answer any questions, because I have a lot to really say on this topic, because I've gone through this misery and I'm still going through this misery. I have not really come out of it. I'm better, but I'm still under treatment. So I can definitely give you some insight as to what you can do to tackle anxiety neurosis. So bye for now, and thanks for watching.